Welcome to EBS. This is anchor Yejun Choi
Kim.
for today's news. Climate change due to global warming is becoming a global problem. Since industrialization, the average temperature of the Earth has risen 1.09 degrees Celsius, with experts warning that 1.5 degrees Celsius would have been increased by 2040. The dim side of this global phenomenon can be understood by the recent situations of the poor in Europe and Southeast Asia who are suffering greatly from climate change. Global warming, which never quite seemed like our problem, is no longer a problem of only others. Reporter Lee will tell us more.
Thank you. This is Lee Chae-bin. I'm standing in front of a free school cafeteria in England, and you can see a long line of people even though it's early in the morning. Recently, the number of people visiting these free cafeterias has increased significantly, not only in the UK, but also across Europe. A noticeable difference between the past and now would be the fact that the proportion of people in the 20s and 30s has increased significantly in a few months. In the past, the majority of users used to be ones in the 50s. The reason for the huge increase in the number of free school lunch users is that the price of bread, the staple food of Europeans, has risen exponentially. Currently, the price of wheat, the main ingredient of bread, has risen by about 150%, including most restaurants to raise the price of their wheat-based foods. The rise in the price of food and essential items has made it difficult for the socially disadvantaged living on subsidies to eat, which has left college students and young people in financial difficulties.
The reason for the sudden rise in wheat price is due to India's recent announcement to not export wheat from now on. India is the world's second largest wheat exporter, and this announcement ignited the situation of wheat supply, which has already been hit by Russia-Ukraine war. India says they made this decision because of the prolonged early heat wave and dry weather.
So far, we have dealt with difficulties the poor in Europe were facing due to climate change. Next, let's take a look at the situation in Southeast Asia, which has been severely damaged by heat waves and floods. Reporter Lee will tell more about this.
This is Chae-bin Lee. I'm currently in an evacuation center near the coast of Bangladesh. Not long ago, in Bangladesh, about 30,000 people were evacuated to nearby areas because 5 islands became not suitable places to live due to rising sea levels. Bangladesh is currently suffering from climate change, where a series of heat waves have melted glaciers and raised sea levels. Since about 90% of the population is engaged in agriculture, it is expected to take a relatively long time to recover from the damage.
Thank you. Not only Bangladesh, but also various Asian countries such as Japan and India are suffering damage due to a series of heat waves. So how can we address this climate change? We invited an expert in this field. Thank you for coming, Expert Lee.
This is Dr. Yubin Oh. As we can see from above, climate change has become a severe problem for us to solve. There are many ways to enhance the situation, but I would like to introduce 2 very effective solutions. First, a government policy, the Green New Deal, is the way to solve climate change. Green New Deal is a sustainable development policy that seeks to coexist with nature and people. It was first implemented in the US to support the economically vulnerable through the growth of the renewable energy industry and vocational training for the low-income class. In South Korea, former President Moon Jae-in has also declared this policy as a major response to the climate change crisis, and the current Yoon Suk-yeol government emphasizes the Green New Deal as their major policy. The following is the application of international guidelines. Climate change exacerbates existing poverty problems, but the bigger problem is that solution is not that simple. Until now, response to climate change has often been limited to ecological restoration. However, experts say that local residents should be the biggest factor to be considered. And the coexistence of residents and regions must be a fundamental solution. Therefore, new guidelines should be established. Considering this, the United Nations Convention on the Prevention of Desertification has recently established new guidelines, and warnings from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization have been applied to multi-purpose companies. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your detailed explanation. So far, we have dealt with the problems caused by climate change and how to solve them. Knowing that now is the last chance to correct the hazardous effect of climate change, we ask for your active response. So far, it's been the anchor, Yana Kim.
And Yejun Cho.
Thank you.